Hi everyone, welcome to Numeriq Learning. So today is day 14 of Do Math with Me, the daily practice series wherein you will spend 20 minutes of your time. You will take your notebook and solve problems with me chapter-wise every day, Monday to Saturday. Here in today's video, we will be solving questions from the unit polynomials. These are very easy questions, very good questions, and very important. You have to make sure that you do it with me. Okay, if you just watch the video, it might seem as though you are able to understand it, but if you are asked to solve it on your own, you may not be able to solve it unless you practice. You have to take your pen, take a notebook. You can start a notebook specifically for this because this is going to be a regular series. Today is day 14 and this will go on till your December, till the last chapter. Okay, and if you have any doubts, please post those doubts in the comments. I'll definitely reply to them and I'll make sure that I clarify them in the next video. Let's get started today. The first question is, find a quadratic polynomial. Find a quadratic polynomial. You have to find a quadratic polynomial, each with the given numbers as the sum and product of its zeros respectively. Let me tell you what is a quadratic polynomial. Okay, so a quadratic polynomial in general is of the form ax square plus bx plus c. This is the standard form of any quadratic polynomial. The highest power of x here is 2, so the degree is always 2, and because the degree is 2, this is called a quadratic polynomial, and let us denote it with p of x. That means polynomial with variable x. Now these a, b and c are called the coefficients. What is a? A is the coefficient of x square, plus b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. In general, a, b and c are all called the coefficients. Okay, the coefficients are a, b and c. Now, because the degree is 2 and because it is called a quadratic polynomial, this particular polynomial can have maximum 2 zeros. What do you mean by zeros? Zeros means that specific value of x which when substituted will make this entire polynomial value as 0. Okay, so there can be a maximum of 2 zeros. That means 0 means 2 values of x, maximum 2 values of x that can make this particular polynomial value to be 0. There can be 1 0 and there can be no zeros also. So let us assume that this particular polynomial has got 2 zeros, namely alpha and beta. Okay, what is alpha and beta? Alpha and beta is that value of x which can make p of x 0. Okay, when you substitute alpha value, alpha could be some integer value. When you substitute that value of x, right, in place of x, if you substitute, your p of x will become 0. That is why alpha is called the 0 of the polynomial. Same with beta, and this alpha and beta can be any value, right? So always remember, quadratic polynomials can have a maximum of 2 zeros, mostly denoted by alpha and beta. Okay, now there is an important formula which you should know. If you are given that alpha and beta are the zeros of a quadratic polynomial p of x, and that p of x is of the form ax square plus bx plus c, then there is a formula that you have to remember. One is sum of the zeros. The formula is alpha plus beta is equal to the sum of the zeros, right? It should be equal to minus b by a. This is the formula. And the product of the zeros this is denoted by s, and let me denote this by p. Alpha into beta is equal to, a product of alpha beta is equal to c by a. Right? So if you know the alpha and beta values, you can calculate the sum and you can find out the product. Right? Now, if you know the sum and the product of, if you know the sum and product, that is S and P, you can write a quadratic equation or you can write a quadratic polynomial using again another formula, which is nothing but k multiplied by x square minus sum of the zeros into x plus the product of the zeros. Okay, and this k can be any value, it can be 1, 2, 3, anything. So this is a formula which you should remember. The first one is, you should know the standard form of a quadratic polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c, where a, b and c are the coefficients. Normally, a polynomial with variable x is denoted by p of x. The degree of a quadratic polynomial is the highest power of x. That is what is called the degree, and for a quadratic polynomial, the degree is 2. A, b and c are the coefficients. Any quadratic polynomial can have a maximum of 2 zeros. It can have 1 zero and it can have no zeros also, but it can never go beyond 2. At most, maximum it will have 2 zeros. What do you mean by 0? 0 means that value of x which will make p of x 0. Let us assume that alpha and beta are the zeros of this polynomial. Alpha and beta could be some value. Okay. Now, if you know alpha and beta of some polynomial p of x, what can you calculate? You can find immediately the minute you are given a polynomial, you can find out the sum of the zeros. How will you find out the sum of the zeros? Using this formula, that is alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a. B and a are the coefficients. You can find out the product of the zeros, c by a. Suppose you are given the sum and product directly, you can just substitute it in the formula, which is k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p, where s is the sum of 0, p is the product of 0. Mainly this much is the only thing, the main thing that is needed for your chapter 2 polynomials, mainly, predominantly. If you are asked the relationship between the coefficients and the zeros, these are the two things which are very important, wherein you are able to relate the zeros with the coefficient. You are able to relate the zeros with the coefficient. Alpha and beta are the zeros. B, A, C, A are the coefficients. So, tell me the formula to relate the zeros and the coefficients means you will tell these two. Okay, alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a. Alpha beta is equal to c by a. Now, in our given question, let's get back to the question. I hope you understood this. This is just theoretical, but this knowledge is needed for solving today's question. Find a quadratic polynomial. You have to find a quadratic polynomial, each with the given numbers as sum and product of its zeros. As I told you, this value, sum of the 0 is given to you, product of the 0 is given to you. So let us do it. So this is the sum and this is the product. Okay. If you know the sum and the product, if you know the s value and p value, sum and the product of the zeros, you just have to substitute it in this formula. This is the quadratic polynomial. Okay, so if you know the sum and product of the zeros of any polynomial, you will be able to write the quadratic polynomial. How? Using the formula k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p. So, k multiplied by x square minus s is nothing but 1 by 4x plus p. So, plus of minus 1. Be very careful. Okay. So, let me write this k multiplied by x square minus 1 by 4x minus 1. Right? You can take an LCM. So, when you take LCM, what will you have? 4 in the denominator. So, here you will have 4x square minus x minus 4. K is outside. Okay. K you can, the denominator 4 you can take it out. So you can write k by 4, or you can write when k equal to 4. When k is 4, what will happen? If k is 4, 4 and 4 will get cancelled. So what is the quadratic polynomial? 4x square minus x minus 4 is the required quadratic polynomial. That's all. Always write the formula first. Okay, you are given the sum of the zeros, you are given the product of the zeros. You just have to write the formula first. First thing that you have to do is write the formula. K multiplied by k is some constant value. And one more thing you have to remember is, for any set of values, right, there can be infinite number of polynomials. This answer is never, it need not be a fixed answer. You can take, this can also be done. You can just leave it like this. Okay, in this step itself, you can take k equal to 1. If k is equal to 1, everything that's within the square bracket is your answer. You can just leave it like that. You will get full marks. If you want, you can take the LCM and then take this divided by 4 outside and take k as, let k be 4. When k is 4, 4 and 4 will get cancelled and this is your answer. So it completely depends on your convenience only. So for a given set of sum and product, you will have infinite number of polynomials. Okay, depending on what value of k you are taking. Now this particular thing you will become more clear as we go ahead with another problem. So again, the next problem is, you can make a note of it, pause it, please make a note of this, and let's go ahead and do the next question. It's the same question. You are given two numbers. One is the sum of the zero, the other one is the product of the zero. You have to find a quadratic polynomial. So the formula is k multiplied by x square minus sum of the zeros into x plus product of the zeros. So k multiplied by x square minus s is nothing but root 2. It's given to us. X plus product is 1 by 3. Let us take the LCM. So when you take the LCM, what will you have? Denominator 3. So numerator will be 3x square minus 3 root 2x plus 1. Right? So k by 3 multiplied by 3x square minus 3 root 2x plus 1. Then when k equal to 3, when I'm taking k equal to 3, what will be the polynomial? The required polynomial is 3x. So 3 and 3 will get cancelled. It will become 1, right? 3 by 3 is 1. So 3x square minus 3 root 2x plus 1. This is your final answer. Suppose you take k is 6. Then what will you have? You will have to multiply everything with 2. So you will have 6x square minus 6 root 2x plus 2. This is also correct. This is also correct. Okay. So again, it completely depends on if you're taking k as 9. Okay. If suppose k is 9, what will you have outside? You'll have a 3. Multiply 3 with all the terms. That is your final answer. So for any given set of sum and product, you can have infinite number of polynomials. Okay, depends on what value of k you choose. I hope that is clear. Let's go ahead with the next question. Yeah, the next question is, your sum is 0 and your product is root 5. The first thing to do is write the formula k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p. So k multiplied by x square minus a sum is 0. 0x plus p is root 5. 0x is nothing. You don't have to write anything. So k multiplied by x square plus root 5. Then what value of k do you take? I'll take k equal to 1. When k equal to 1, x square plus root 5 is the answer. This is my required polynomial. Right? Okay, so if you solve this, right, the sum, you will get alpha and beta, let it be zeros, and using that alpha and beta, suppose alpha and beta are the zeros of this final polynomial, you will have to find the zeros, and when you take the sum of those zeros and product of the zeros, you will be getting sum as 0 and product as root 5. Okay. Again, if you are taking k as 2, what will be the answer? 2x square plus 2 root 5. That's also right. This is also, any answer is correct. But make sure you write the formula. For writing the formula and then substitute it in the next step and then solve it. Okay. Let's move on to the fourth question. 1 and 1. Okay. So sum of the zeros is 1. Product of the 0 is also 1. So the formula is k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p. This is the formula if we know the sum and product. Let's substitute it. X square minus 1 into x plus 1. Right? So when k is equal to 1, the formula, the quadratic polynomial becomes x square minus x plus 1. Be very careful with the sign in the formula. Okay, x square minus sx plus p. Remember it. Write it in a separate notebook or mark it as important. Revise it and make sure you remember. Let's move on to the fifth question. Minus 1 by 4 and plus 1 by 4. So one is the sum, the other one is the product. The formula is k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p. So k multiplied by x square minus sum is minus 1 by 4. Okay, this minus is the formula's minus and the sum also has the negative sign. So I'm putting it in the bracket. Do x plus product is 1 by 4. Now let's open the bracket. Minus into minus is plus 1 by 4x plus 1 by 4. Okay. So you have k multiplied by 4x square plus x plus 1 whole divided by 4. I'm taking it outside. Okay. I'm taking it outside. So now when k is equal to 4, the denominator 4 I took it outside. When k is equal to 4, what will you have? 4 and 4 will get cancelled. It will become 1. So 4x square plus x plus 1 is the required polynomial. Okay. The next question, 4 comma 1. So 4, let it be the sum and 1 is the product. Again, k multiplied by x square minus sx plus p. Okay, so k multiplied by x square minus sum is 4, 4x plus product is 1. When k is equal to 1, the polynomial is x square minus 4x plus 1. That's all is your answer. Right? So if you know the sum of the zeros and if you know the product of the zeros, you will be able to find the quadratic polynomial using this formula. Very, very easy. So in any form, even in case study questions, if you know the sum and product, you will be able to find a quadratic polynomial whose sum and product of the zeros are given. Right? So please remember this, and if you have any doubts, please, again, as I told you, please post it in the comments. And this Sunday, definitely join me in a live YouTube session wherein we will be solving MCQ questions related to polynomials from the chapter Polynomials, only MCQs. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me during the live session. It's from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday in our channel Numeriq Learning. Okay, so till then, happy learning. And make sure you are following the series. You can check out the Exemplar exercises, NCERT exercises and all the questions done related to your chapter 1 real numbers and polynomials. Thank you so much, and if you are finding my video helpful, do share with your friends and please do subscribe. Thank you so much.